Wait, what? Oh, fuck. Hi there, how's it going? I'm Nick, and don't worry, I'm not usually this pixelated. This is just to build dramatic tension, so yeah, it's all good. Don't adjust your TV set. 1 year ago, my weight reached just over 200 kilograms, which was the heaviest I'd ever been. And I decided I'd had enough. So I set myself a challenge to lose 100 kilograms in a year. Each month I checked in and talked about my journey and my progress. Was I successful? Well, you'll have to wait and find out. Or I guess you could skip to the end. I don't know, I'm not your dad. Anyway, let's go back 1 year and see how it went. Alright, so it is the 1st of November. I'm just out for a walk because it's a lovely day. I weighed in this morning at 190 kgs. So that's 10 kgs down this month, which is really great progress. I'm really happy with it. I am aware from previous experience and from listening to other people that it is going to get a lot harder. Usually it's easiest to lose weight at the start because that's when your motivation is highest and your body hasn't adjusted to the new routine yet. I haven't really changed that much this month. I mean, I've been getting out a bit more, going for walks and things, going out and playing football with my kid, and eating a lot less, I think, is the main thing. But I am really happy with the progress, you know. I am on track for my goal, which I don't expect to stay the same the whole way through this process, but I'm really happy for now. Anyway, I'll see you next month. One annoying part of being overweight is that it gets quite difficult to find clothes that fit, and my body is weirdly proportioned anyway, so I have a really long torso and relatively short legs, but I'm also quite tall. I'm 6'3". That combined with the weight makes it really hard to find clothes that fit, because most clothes are either long enough or wide enough, but most of the time they're not both. But as I'm losing weight, a lot more of the older clothes that I used to wear, like this shirt, a lot more of them are starting to fit, which is nice. It's nice to see actual progress being made. On the weight side of things, I weighed myself this morning and I'm down to 180, which is another 10 kgs, which I'm pretty happy with. Next month is December, so I'm kind of expecting to fall off the wagon a little bit there. I'm pretty big on Christmas and Christmas food, but yeah, that's November done. Hopefully we can carry that on. Yeah, I took a break for December. I'm not sure how I feel about New Year's resolutions, because on the one hand, I feel like they're almost a joke these days. They're something that you make so that you can break them later on and go, oh, it's a New Year's resolution, everybody breaks them. But at the same time, there's something very invigorating about the new year. So why not roll with it? New year, new me, right? January's been going well. Still not going very hard on the exercise. Mainly doing a lot of walking, playing football, helped a friend move, which was actually probably the most exercise I did in a month. Why did we choose to move on the hottest day of the year? So at the end of January, I'm down to 171 kgs, which is good. It's not as much progress as previous months, but I kind of expected that. But I'm in good spirits, I'm pretty motivated, so yeah, let's hit this year running and see how it goes. Fingers crossed. I've tried to lose weight before, and I've only really been successful once. That was about 5 years ago, and I put all of that back on. I'll put most of the failure down to two main reasons. One is that I go way too hard, and then I just exhaust myself and I can't really carry on.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
And second is that I plateau at a certain weight and I just sort of give up because I'm not making any progress. And the second one sort of happened this month. I was having a really hard time getting past 170 kgs. I sat at around 171 for like 2 weeks. Not really sure what it was. I hadn't really changed much. And of course, as usual, I considered stopping. But I'm in my 30s now and I can't keep putting this off and putting this off. So I dug down, I switched some things up. I started running. I say running, it's mainly jogging on grass or other soft ground so I don't ruin my knees because I'm still quite heavy. With that and some sensible eating, I managed to get through not only 170 kgs, but also through 160 kgs. And so now I'm at around 159. So I'm pretty happy and I'm pretty motivated, and I guess we'll just see if that lasts. So I talked last month about how I have a tendency to go overboard when I'm trying to lose weight. So 3 guesses what happened this month. It's hard to say exactly what's happened. I think the bulk of it is that I got lost in the numbers. I've been pretty consistently hitting 10 kgs each month. And because I've been trying to keep that up, I've been pushing myself harder than I should have been. And the other thing I've been doing is focusing way too hard on eating less. It makes sense why it happened. It's very easy to look at the amount you're eating and go, if I eat less, I'll lose more weight. If you just keep pushing that and you take it to the extremes, you end up not really eating anything. And that's sort of what I did this month. And because of that combination of not eating enough and pushing myself too hard, I feel awful. The last time I went out running, I was basically shaking for the rest of the evening. And the frustrating part is that it worked. I'm now down to 150 odd kgs, so that's keeping up with that trend, but obviously that's not healthy. And I couldn't keep that up for another 6 months. I don't think I could keep it up for another 2 weeks. I just feel so rotten. It's halfway through the year, and I have lost half of the weight that I wanted to lose, which is good. We're on track. But I need to think about how to sustain the weight loss in a healthy way so that I come out on the other end in better health than I came into it. So that's March. It wasn't a good month, but I think being aware of what's going wrong is going to help me going forward. So I think I'll take a little break, reassess things, and try to move into April with a better mindset. We'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed. So after last month, I needed to slow down a bit. So I had a couple of weeks off, made sure I ate enough, rested a bit, let my body recuperate, and I was feeling pretty good. But then I needed to figure out what I was going to do from then on, because running was good for a start, but what I was finding was that at my current weight, I didn't want to push the running too far because I didn't want to bust my knees up. And at the speed that I was running at, I couldn't really push myself that far. So I joined a boxing gym. Found a really fantastic gym close to where I live. Shout out Wellington Boxing Gym. I've just come from a session actually, which is why I'm out of breath. Boxing is something that I used to do. It's what I was doing when I lost all the weight a long time ago, so I quite like it. It's a really good full body exercise, and you can really push yourself at a level which is good for you. It's really easy to up the intensity once you're feeling a bit more comfortable with it, and that's going really well. I feel great, I feel a lot fitter. I don't feel like I'm destroying my body anymore, which is positive. So in the last half of this month, I've got my weight down to about 145, which is good. It's breaking that 10 kgs a month streak, but I think that was a good idea, and I feel really good about going forward. I'm going to keep up with the boxing and some other exercises, and for the moment that seems sustainable, so we'll see how that lasts.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
This month I did the Tough Guy Challenge. If you're not familiar, it's an off-road running race with obstacles, hills, and a lot of mud. I've done this before, and I found it's a really good indication of how your fitness is going. The last time I lost a significant amount of weight, I'd done this race twice, once at the start and once near the end. My finish time was obviously better the second time around, but I was more surprised by how easy, comparatively, the obstacles were the second time. There's a big hill in the middle, which they call Everest, and the first time I did it, it took ages, it took forever, and it really seemed like insurmountable. I had to stop constantly and my legs were absolutely killing me. It was rough. It was really rough. The second time I did it, I was expecting it to feel roughly the same, but I was a lot fitter and I weighed a lot less, and I just sort of made it to the top. I felt fine. I hadn't stopped. I kind of felt like I'd only gone 20% of the way up the hill from what I remembered, but I was there. I was at the top. So at the time it was quite shocking. Now looking back, it makes a lot of sense, and I think it's a really good lesson for what a big change fitness and also weight makes to things like that. This year, it was definitely on the easier side. I'm still not where I was the last time I did it, so my finishing time was not quite that fast, but it was still a lot faster than the first time I did it. And I felt pretty good the whole way through. I didn't really feel that exhaustion. It's kind of a shame that I don't have a starting time to compare it to this time. It's usually in May. It doesn't line up with when I started this challenge. Otherwise, I think I would have done it. But I'll probably do it again next year. And hopefully I'll see with a decrease in weight and additional fitness that time will come down again. Other than that challenge, it's been a good month. Gym is still going really well for me. Still going pretty strong. Still eating properly, which is good. I don't feel terrible. And at the end of the month, I'm down to about 136 kilograms, which is fantastic. It's sort of back on track to reach that goal of 100 kgs in a year. It is nearly the middle of winter though, so it's getting really cold. But my motivation is high, I'm feeling good, and I think I can push through it. So we'll see. So it's June now, which puts us firmly in the middle of winter here. To be fair, Wellington doesn't really get that cold. It never really gets below 0, but it's colder than I'm used to. And with all the weight that I've lost recently, I'm certainly feeling it a lot more. Call that one of the downsides of losing so much weight. A lot of people struggle with exercise in winter, and that's fair enough. Nobody wants to go outside in the freezing cold with gym clothes on. It's much more compelling to stay at home and eat some warm food, drink some hot drinks. But I'm doing pretty well. I'm still on track to meet my goal. But to maintain a bit of intrigue, I'm not going to do any more weigh-ins until the end. I'll still do them, but I won't post them on here. So you don't get to see how my progress is going. Maintain a bit of a surprise for the end. It's going well. I'm still feeling strong, but it's cold. I'm going to go back inside. So I'm 10 months in at this point, and I am struggling. And I'm not struggling with the things that I expected to struggle with. I thought that I would start slipping on the diet or slacking off at the gym, and so far I haven't been. My gym schedule is still pretty regular. I'm doing pretty well on the diet. What I didn't expect, and what I'm struggling with at the moment, is a level of frustration and anger at this whole process. Not because it's not working, but because it's so long and drawn out and getting in the way of things I enjoy. If you couldn't tell, I quite like food. You don't get to 200 kgs without liking food. And I think it's one of the simplest joys there are, is just eating nice food. But of course, with life being the way that it is, the things that you want to eat are usually the things that are least healthy for you. Part of the reason that I'm annoyed is that I don't feel like this should frustrate me in the way that it does, but it really gets to me. A lot of people online will say, oh, just stop eating. It's easy to just stop eating, you lose weight. But it's so grating to just do it, especially for such a long period of time. And I also know that at the end of this, I can't go back to eating how I used to eat, because then I'll just put all the weight back on, and I'm not doing that again. Because I think if I put all the weight back on, I'm not going to lose it again, so I gotta stick with this. And I know I'll be able to eat better and start having some of the things that I enjoy again, but it'll still be quite restrictive, and I guess I just have to do that for the rest of my life. But at least I know that I'm getting something out of it, and that is keeping me going. I do feel like I'm nearly there. I thought that there'd be a hump in the middle where I was like, cool, I'm halfway there. I didn't feel that in the middle. I kind of have only just started feeling that now, where I'm like, it's downhill from here. So I'll stick with it. At this point, it's half out of spite. I don't want my frustration to win. That'll keep me going. Whatever keeps me going. I'm nearly there. I really feel like I'm nearly there, and that is awesome. Hopefully next month won't be so glum. I'll try to focus on the positives because there are a lot of positives. There are so many positives, but this is certainly the thing that's occupying my mind the most at the moment. But yeah, let's see how it goes. One of the best things about losing all this weight is rediscovering things that I previously written off, because the world isn't designed for overweight people. And anybody who's been overweight, particularly like I was, has probably had the experiences of, like, for instance, going to a cafe or a restaurant and seeing that they've got like spindly little plastic chairs, and the dread that you feel when you're just like, I'm gonna break this if I sit on it. But there's also a lot of activities which have sort of a weight limit, just because it's harder to make stuff that supports heavier people. But now that I'm losing a lot of weight, I'm finding that I can do a lot of those things. So for instance, I've been out doing a lot of mountain biking, which is great fun, and it hurts my legs so much. And I've been doing some skateboarding, getting back into that. I haven't been on a skateboard in like a decade, so that's an interesting challenge. And a whole lot of little things, like going into a shop and seeing clothes that you like and they fit. I went into a nice clothing store with my brother recently, and I saw a jacket. I thought it was quite nice. I looked at the tag, it was a medium, and I'm like, there's no way in hell this is gonna fit me. I tried it on just to see where I was, and it turns out it fit perfectly. And that completely blew me out of the water, because I had no idea. I did not think I was anywhere close to being able to fit something like that. It's a really good feeling, and it's so motivating to keep me on this path. So I guess we'll keep it up for now, and fingers crossed it keeps going well. See you next month for the last weigh-in. Oh, hang on. Oh, thank fuck. So here we are. It's 1 year later, and I am just over 100 kilograms lighter. And it was like down to the wire. I really only got under 100 a couple of days before the time limit, so I was pretty nervous. But it means I can finally answer the question, how hard is it to lose 100 kilograms in a year? It's hard. It is so fucking hard. I think it's safe to say that it's been the hardest 12 months of my life, and it compounds, you know, every day, every month, and for a year. A year is such a long time. But that's not to say that it's all been bad. I mean, I've had so many positive experiences. Like I was talking about last month, there are just so many changes I've gone through, so many activities I can do now, and essentially a freedom that I've gained. Without wanting to sound too grandiose about it, I feel like I had created a prison for myself with years and years of overeating and neglect, and now I've escaped from it, and I genuinely feel like a new person. Now, with that in mind, would I recommend you doing this? Yes and no. I definitely don't recommend doing it the way that I've done it. I went into it knowing that losing so much weight in such a short period of time wasn't really the healthiest way to go about it. But I know that I tend to be very all or nothing with these things. And so I felt like if I didn't have that challenge and that immediacy, that I wouldn't do it. And on balance, I think that the positives of losing all of that weight outweigh the potential negatives of doing it in such a short time frame. That being said, I can't recommend enough regular exercise, and if you feel like you need to, losing some weight. Exercise is an easy one. It's so good for you to just get out and have regular exercise. And you can start anywhere. Like, I started with walking, and now I'm boxing, I'm skateboarding, mountain biking, running, and these are all things that at the start of this process I couldn't imagine myself doing. But I just had to start somewhere, and for me that was walking, and from there I've worked my way up to it. There are so many benefits of getting regular, strenuous exercise. It's good for your heart, it helps with chronic conditions like diabetes, it's good for your mental health, it helps with things like cognitive decline, and it directly reduces the amount of stress hormone that your body creates, which means that it's a very
effective method of stress relief. Losing weight is a much more complex topic, and it's a pain point for a lot of people for very good reasons. Most of the rhetoric around weight and weight loss isn't very healthy. Everybody's grouped together and given these numbers that you have to achieve, like a BMI or a clothing size. But really, there's no one ideal weight or body shape for everybody. It's just so dependent on the individual. From my own experience, I can say that it has changed how I interact with the world in almost every way. I can do more, I can participate in the world more. And it's the simple things like being able to try on clothes that I like, but there's also more complex things like going places without worrying if my weight is going to be a problem. Like going to a restaurant and not worrying about whether I'm going to break the chairs, or doing an activity and I don't have to worry about whether I'm going to break the equipment. I do feel like people treat me better. And I know that's an experience that a lot of people have had when they lose weight. And it's a shame that that is the case, but it does seem to be true. So I'm not going to make some broad statement like everybody needs to go out and lose some weight. But what I will say is if you feel like you need to lose weight or you feel like it's becoming a health problem, then I do recommend just putting some work into it. Do not do it like I did, okay? You take your time, there's no hurry. All you're looking for is a consistent and gradual improvement. So, what now? Well, I still have to get used to, well, this. I don't really recognize myself anymore. Like I do a lot of double takes when I see myself in the mirror. When I picture myself in my head, I don't look like this. I don't think I look like this either, but if I'm honest, I never really thought that I looked like that until I made this video and watched it back. I think I also have to spend some time just coming to terms with what I've done over the past year. I have a hard time being proud of myself or giving myself credit for my achievements. But it means that I dismiss things and I deflect them a lot. So if somebody compliments me or tells me they're impressed with my weight loss, I sort of brush it off or downplay it. Like I've said in the past, oh, I had a lot of weight to start with, so it was easier to lose, which is a bit ridiculous. And I know that. Like if I was talking to somebody else and they told me that they'd lost 100 kilograms in a year, I would be awestruck. I'd be blown away. I'd be telling them all of the things that people have been telling me. So objectively, I know that what I've done, I'm having a hard time even saying it now. I know that what I've done is impressive. It's an achievement of a lifetime, and it's something that I can be proud of. I think I just have to spend some time convincing myself that it's true. On the physical side of things, I have to get some new clothes because none of them fit me anymore. These are my newest ones and I went out and got them yesterday and I'd gone down a size since even last month. So basically nothing fits anymore. I did keep a few clothes from the start just so that I could have that comparison. This is a picture of me in one of my t-shirts that I used to wear and now it looks like a circus tent on me. I've also been using the same belt the entire time and like drilling new holes in it as I lost weight, which is fun because it gives you a very visual representation of like your waist size. So this is my belt and all the holes that I've drilled in it, and this is roughly the change in sizes. And the last thing, which I did expect, is that I have a lot of loose skin and I'm not sure how I feel about it. It doesn't bother me as much as I thought it would, but like I can't say that I'm thrilled about it. When I look at pictures of myself now without a shirt on, I think it makes me look sick or frail. And it's just because of the way the skin bunches and hangs. Like it makes sense, it used to be full and now it's loose and it just hangs like the t-shirt did. And I know I'm not sick or frail, like obviously I feel great and I can flex and I can see that there are muscles there, so I know it's not as bad as it looks. But it does bother me a bit. Over time it'll get a little bit better, but probably not that much. I'll probably try to put some muscle on just to fill out the skin a little bit more, and because I want to. And if it's really causing issues, then I might look into having surgery to have some of it removed. I don't feel like I need to at the moment, but I guess we'll see how I feel after I've had to live with the skin for a while. For now, I do see it as like a proof of my achievements. And at the end of the day, if a bit of loose skin is what it costs for me to have gone through these changes and have these immense improvements to my life, then it is well worth it. And now I've got one more thing to do. I've been wanting to do it for basically the whole year. I'm gonna go and eat some goddamn food. See you later.